Yeah, today we're going to talk more about the side lengths in triangles, and we're going to talk specifically about the triangle inequality theorem. So add this to your flip book. If you're keeping up with your flip book, the triangle inequality theorem says that if you add any two of the sides in a triangle together, that those two sides added together will be bigger than the third side. So if I were to take the triangle apart and I were to take any of the two sides and put them end to end, that would make a bigger length than the third side by itself. So one of the ways you'll see to apply this idea is we'll give you three sides or three lengths and see if you can make a triangle out of it. And for me, the easiest way to test that would be to pick the two smaller side lengths. So here are 3 and 7, and I'm going to add them together. And if those two added together are bigger than the third side, then I'll be okay, and I can make a triangle with those three lengths. So there I am adding 3 and 7. That gives me 10. I'll check 10 is bigger than 8, the third side length, so the two smaller ones added together is bigger than the third. So I can say, yeah, I can make a triangle with those three side lengths. I'm going to do another one. Again, I'm going to look at the two smaller sides, 5 and 10, and I just so happen to list them in order here. Just make sure you're paying attention to that. So I'm going to add 5 and 10. That gives me 15. In this case, 5 and 10 added together will be equal to the last side, the third side, so that doesn't really satisfy being greater than, so I would not be able to build a triangle with sides 5, 10, and 15. So go ahead and pause here and use the last two as an example, and check to see if you can build a triangle with sides 2 meters, 6 meters, and 9 meters. So I'm going to pick the two smaller ones again, and they come first again. That's just the way I listed them this time. I'm adding 2 and 6, I get 8. 8 is not bigger than 9, so the two smaller sides added together is not bigger than the third side, so that doesn't satisfy the theorem, so no, we cannot build a triangle with these three sides. So another way we're going to apply this idea, this theorem, this concept would be to figure out the possible length of a third side of a triangle. So here I have, I want to build a triangle, and sorry about that. I want to build a triangle, and it has one side that's 8 feet and one side that's 12 feet, and I want to figure out the range, so what are all the possibilities for the third side length. So the way I do that is kind of simple. This is a range, so x represents my third side length. It's got to be bigger than some number and smaller than some number. Another way to say that would be it's got to be between two numbers. So we start by subtracting the two numbers, and then we also add the two numbers. So I'll do 12 minus 8, 8 plus 12, and this builds a range. So my third side, x, in order to build a triangle that has a side of 8 feet and 12 feet, my third side has to be bigger than 4 and smaller than 20. So somewhere bigger than 4, smaller than 20, I could build a triangle if I picked a length between those two lengths. Let's try another one of these. I want to build a triangle that has sides 4 yards and 7 yards. So there's sort of my setup here. I'm going to subtract them and add them. I'll subtract the bigger minus the smaller all the time. I want to deal with positive numbers here. So my third side has to be bigger than 3 yards, but smaller than 11 yards. So my third side could be any size between there. It could be 4 yards, it could be 7.5 yards, could be 9 yards, anywhere between 3 and 11. So go ahead and pause and try this one. So again, I'm writing down my setup just to be consistent, just so that I know every time what I'm supposed to be doing. On the left, I'm going to subtract 8 minus 5. On the right, I'll add 8 plus 5. And that's going to tell me that my third side must be greater than 3 feet and smaller than 13 feet. It's important to point out that because it's smaller than 13 means that it can't be 13 feet. It also cannot be 3 feet. It's got to be bigger than 3. It's got to be smaller than 13. So I've got 2 U-Dos for you to try. Do these 2. Click the link below. Put your answers in the Google form, and I'll answer any questions that you have in class.